All right, folks, welcome back. Again, sorry for the hiccups for today, but as I said, it should be smooth sailing from here on out, hopefully and ideally. I was talking to ByuL a little bit, though, just while we were waiting, and I kind of said, like, hey, dude, how's your English? Like, I want to try and talk to you about something, and he's like, my English is not so good. So I tried to keep it really simple with him, but I was like, look, you won, when you win a Lima League, you win BaseTradeTV Heart. Many fans will love you, so good luck today. And he's like, good for me. But today my condition is so bad, so sick now, headache.
Oh,
So I'm hoping he's doing well enough to get through. But if he's not feeling so hot, then I can certainly understand that not going so well. I guess we should explain a little bit about this tournament, though, because again, we're gonna be waiting for a moment, guys. I promise you, we're not just sitting here to talk your ear offs. Although I guess that's kind of what we do for a job, all things considered. Regardless of that, sorry, tangent. This tournament was originally called Make Korea Great Again. And we specifically said we were doing 4 weeks of a tournament in hopes of picking up a sponsor for it, showing off some good viewership and some great games. And I was really, really excited when Twitch was the one, like, of all people, Twitch were the ones to end up sponsoring this. So you guys have noticed the little powered by Twitch thing on the logo down there. It's on the in-game overlay. And I hope that they'll continue supporting more good events throughout 2017. But this tournament is now, like... No, we cast another... sorry. Impact sakes, sorry I didn't invite. Anyways, yeah, Twitch picking this up is great, and I hope that you guys will be enjoying this and make sure to show them your love and all that good stuff. But the tournament itself has some very interesting prizing. By the way, Gumio just advanced 2-1. Nice to see there. Where there's $100 every week, and that's not super impressive in and of itself. But there is a $400 monthly finals, and first place, second place, third place... Everybody down to 8th place gets points for winning their positions on top of prize money. Those points will determine who gets invited back at the end of the month, that top 8 bracket, to play for the $400 prize. And I'm guessing that's enticed quite a few Koreans, because again, today's signups are looking good. A lot of people, very specifically right now, are not playing online cups and avoiding things because they have GSL and WESG and other things coming up. Like a lot of you guys are probably like, why isn't Scarlett playing today? And I can't speak for her, but I'm going to tell you, it's probably because she was wanting to be prepped and ready to go for 2 very, very important tournaments that are happening within the next 2 weeks type thing. And I think for some of the Koreans, it's the same case, at least with GSL. So I know I mentioned Innovation. I actually messaged him and talked to him a little bit earlier today. And he said, yeah, he doesn't want to play because he needs to prepare for the other tournament. So hopefully as GSL progresses through the year, we're going to find more players knocked out and thus available to play in our events, which would be really cool too. But that being said, this is like the most blocked it's going to be. The most players playing in GSL are playing right now. Every week going forward, there'll be less players in GSL as they get knocked out. And this was already a fantastic set of turnouts. Like, again, jjakji, Hurricane, Gumiho, Zest, Creator, Stats, Impact, ByuL. A lot of good names. A lot of good names showing up today.
yeah, it's not too bad at all. So Gumiho and X-Team Silky are already in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, X-Team, Chinese team. Actually, that used to be ByuL's team, funny enough.
True, yeah, okay. I was wondering why that sounded familiar. I haven't seen Silky play though. But he's obviously doing alright. 2-0ing Armani and Sakya?
Yeah, Silky's like what I would best describe, in my opinion, at least like a round of 8 player right now, where he will pretty consistently get to the round of 8, but usually by then the players seem to be able to overtake him. It would be really cool to see him get a little bit further, but he's got stats in his bracket, and that's not an easy player to tackle, that's for certain.
Yeah. Stats is actually still waiting for his round 2 opponents. That's dragging a little bit. But yeah, hopefully he'll have a match soon. I'm kind of, I wonder if Zest will be Creator, because Creator used to be like a god at PvP. It would actually be really cool to see him move on. I've always loved watching Creator when he's like on point. He's so cool to watch. But
yeah, and he's streaming his games. Not a lot of players willing to do that, but yeah, Creator is streaming his matches currently. If you guys haven't seen, go check that out. Rifkin, why aren't you using your green screen? I literally never use my green screen, dude. This thing at this point is just like, don't look at the fucking mess behind me, because I'm in the process of moving screen. But here, I'll just for you guys today, I'll do a special green screen.
Oh man, I think I have to green screen for the OSC tomorrow, and I've literally never tried to use that, and I feel like it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, green screens are super fun, especially because they're super like lighting dependent.
Well, that's the thing, because they I think all in the last year, every time we've done an online cup for whatever, people have been like, "Can you guys like not do the bedroom cast? Can you have a green screen?" Which sort of rustles me because it's like you're literally asking a bedroom caster to cast for you, and then you get mad that they're in their bedroom. Like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not easy for me to get a green screen here because I don't know if you guys can see on stream, but the shelf here actually comes out in the floor a little bit. So the green screen has to come in front of that, which is actually not that far away from behind me. And so I'm sort of like locked in. If I do a green screen, it's really hard to position it. And I can't change my lighting, which is directly above me because there's a wall here. So there's no lights. So I'm going to put it up and see if they can do anything with it because we're not even streaming. Like someone else has our cams and observes for us. So we just sit here and talk and they do all the stuff.
Well, what's interesting on that bedroom topic, by the way, so just as an update, guys, I've told everyone in chat, we're waiting for either Gumiho or ByuL to get an opponent. Whoever gets an opponent first is what we're going to go with, because they're both going to be great games. I was not part of the real big WCS crew. I did cast on the WCS channel for Europe, but it was like one season's worth of qualifiers. I never got to do like the main event. If you guys recall, there's a guy named Maddles. I'm really glad he's gone, not going to lie. And my good buddy Penguin, who would cast a lot of the WCS Europe Challenger Series. And you guys may remember this, but might not know the behind-the-scenes story. Like, Maddles would always be on stream, and they never have Penguin's camera up. And that's because, I don't know who was running it at the time, whether it was ESL or whoever, they didn't think webcams were professional. And I'm quoting that. Like, webcams are not professional. So I always thought, it's like, well, why? What are you expecting to do here? You have people casting from different parts of the world. Like, how are you going to get around that, like, without a webcam?
Yeah.
I personally just thought it looked really stupid having one person and then like this disembodied voice. At least put like a picture or something, you know? Anyways, looks like ByuL has an opponent in jjakji.
Sounds good. Not the TvZ. We've actually been pretty blessed with the TvZs lately in Alima League and the Korean server tournaments.
Yeah, we've actually lucked out that there just hasn't been a lot of mirror matchups in general either. I think mirror matchups are sometimes interesting to watch, but more often than not. Let's get these guys in the game. We got Golden coming with us too. Get ByuL in this match, and of course, last but not least, Zeph. Okay, so jjakji versus ByuL coming up is going to give us a really nice matchup. That'll lead into the semifinals. A couple parts of this bracket are behind, however. So we may end up getting lucky with another best of three, or at least more best of threes. But jjakji to take his invite. Same with ByuL. Dude, that power thumbs up. Unsteady, my man. What's up? What? How you been? I've been watching these dumb clips you've been linking on Twitter there, man. My Overwatch brother from another mother. Good to see you, dude. I hope life is treating you well. But okay, both players not taking their invites. I'm gonna guess they're probably just went like AFK or something. There are no vetoes for this or anything like that. It's just simply pre-picked into loser's choice, all that good stuff. But I'm gonna keep inviting them and make sure these guys, they don't run off and make their own game without us. Little ragamuffins, little hooligans.
Wow.
No, so actually, to explain that, this was something where when I started as a caster, I assumed it was because I was a small fry thing and it was like respect or lack of respect, but I've learned that a lot of times the Koreans run off and start a game without casters. It's rarely because it's BM. They're just so ready to go at any given moment. Zeph can actually vouch for this now. Like, Innovation is probably one of the spammiest players I've ever seen once he gets in the lobby. Because the second he joins the lobby, it's like, go, 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 go. Like, so they're just like always high octane, ready to play. It's probably the best way I would describe that.
Yeah, it's funny. It kind of interested me that Innovation is like that too. You start seeing him like spam all the numbers on the keyboard and stuff as well while he waits. Because when you play GSL and SSL and all that stuff, you have to wait for the show. Like, it's not up to you. And I imagine him sitting there for like 10 minutes while they do the preamble and stuff, just spamming. constantly in the chats.
Actually, yeah, I didn't even consider that. It makes sense when you're doing it online, but offline as well. Because at the BSL finals, that's where I first learned innovation, like to really get the game going.
Yeah. Fair enough too. It is like you do lose your rhythm a little bit if you gotta wait too long, but not to worry. We do have ByuL and jjakji in the lobby now, so hopefully we're ready to rock and roll in just a second. Echo is actually gonna be our first map here.
Alright, I'm sure they're making fun of my spelling errors in Korean. But whenever they're good to go, we'll get this party started. Looks like they're ready. Let's hop into it. You guys are watching the BTSL, the Base Trade Star League. This is the round of 8 we're currently in, and it's a best of 3. Let's hop into it. 2 Grandmaster Korean players. Let's assume for a moment you're brand new to StarCraft. Let's assume for a moment even further you don't appreciate how good of a game is about to go down here. I'll tell you this much, guys. Sit back, relax. jjakji and ByuL are actually looking better than they have in the past. Better in Legacy of the Void, I feel, than they did for most of Heart of the Swarm, even. So these guys should be able to put on quite a good show for us.
Yes, indeed. And these guys haven't actually met up in a tournament for a little while. Not since I Am Korea. And ByuL actually took that one. So keen to see if jjakji can get his revenge. He is on fire at the moment. I'm very pleased to actually get a chance to cast him here. So, in the bottom right-hand corner of Echo, he's the blue Terran, known as jjakji.
And his opponent in the upper left, going to be the red Zerg, the Terran killer, ByuL. If I got my Partus being bet, guys, I'm telling you right now, I'm putting them all on ByuL, like 5,000 deep on ByuL. This guy has killed Innovation. He's killed Beyond. He's killed Alive. And this was 2 days ago. Now, granted, he has said to me today he's not feeling so great. Bit of a headache, bit of some sickness going on. So maybe not quite in the prime Terran Slayer condition that he normally is, but ByuL is truly a fantastic player. And I think jjakji, as good as he is actually the underdog nonetheless.
Yeah, it's funny to think about that. Like, jjakji is one of those players that's really up and down. Sometimes he's playing so awfully he can't do like a round of 32. Other times, he is one of the scariest people in the bracket and a favorite to win the tournament. So a lot of people have been talking jjakji up at the moment. I do hope he is in full Zerg slaying mode and gives us a really good match here, because it's nice to see a comeback from a player like that. And ByuL is hard to beat, so I'm sure if jjakji does manage to take him out, then everyone else in the bracket is going to be thanking him.
I like, by the way, right off the bat that jjakji didn't go through your X Reaper. Talk more on that in a moment, but Maynard is destroying my world right now. I hope this isn't true. Shout out to Maynard, by the way, normal casting partner of Zeph, also all around great guy. But he's telling me that, and I've never, like 4 years in talking to Zombie Grub, I've never talked to her about this, but allegedly, Zombie Grub thinks the phrase "locked out" means that you aren't lucky. But in my opinion, and I think everyone else's opinion, if you lucked out, you were really lucky.
Yeah.
We're,
she wasn't trolling, right?
Apparently not. This is, according to at least chat, this is a serious conversation they had at BlizzCon. So, Zeph, I gotta ask, if I were to say fire this deal breaker of a move, you want to be the new... No, I'm just kidding. No, but I'll have to have some serious words with Zombie Grub. I can't have her, like, representing us in France with that kind of terrible English. This Marine, by the way, speaking of lucked out, gonna find this Overlord. Oh my god, is that high ground? Are you serious?
What?
Okay, so first off, as the Reaper jumps up, wait, this is really messed up high ground. There's some maps with the terrain, when the Reaper's mid-air for like a fraction of a second, it'll provide that vision, and I think that's what jjakji was just trying to do. But, my god, this map has been around before too. We never ever saw a single player use that positioning before. Like, what is that?
I feel like I need to go ladder now. I have this newfound power where I can hide an Overlord in a ridiculous spot. Oh, nice. He actually got an SCV there.
He
and
did.
a full scout.
Right, that's the most important thing. Catching that third command center is really big. This is where ByuL starts contemplating making an all-in. Like, he's still on 2 bases. He's got a decent drone count. The armor upgrade aside for the moment, if he slaps down a Baneling Nest, things can get really bad for jjakji really quickly, especially because he's just so army light. But as we see, another SCV can get popped off. Depots get raised. Just kind of giving up positioning in the natural for the time being. Forced to as well.
Yeah. Oh, that really sucks for jjakji. This is that ByuL style that we were talking about earlier in his last match against Night Butterfly, where he just has these like little ling groups doing backstabs and stuff, and you wouldn't really think they're gonna do that much. But lo and behold, he's forced to lift on the natural base and managed to pick up 2 SCV kills this game. So that is not bloody bad at all.
Well, it does take a third base while this goes on. The Hellions are going to present an interesting dynamic to this. We've been seeing a couple of Terran players doing this more recently. The insistence on Hellions for the opener, turning them to Hellbats for like the mid-game push. I'm still not convinced. I do not believe Hellbats are great units. There was a small period of time where we actually saw Thermal. This is over a year ago, I'm going to say at this point, where he would insist on using Hellbats instead of Widow Mines. And there were some very select cases out of like tons of games where it would work. But just generally speaking, I guess the small upside is like Hellions are only minerals, so you're not like wasting gas, you're not really wasting time with these. As we see, you know, they finish up, the starport will move over to the reactor shortly, and we should have some good production going. Oh, Viking got pushed out pretty quick too. I guess finally get some revenge on that Overlord that duped him earlier.
Yes, poor Overlord. Hide and seek champion 2017, but he does get taken out. And the Hellions look like they're just about ready to start heading out on the map and getting some creep chims. I actually love when Terrans use their Hellions instead. Little disappointed when I don't see the Armory follow up, because Hellbats is just such a what the hell are you doing move, I feel like, as a Zerg player, because they're so uncommon. They don't really come out that often in the early mid game. But they're a great way to catch the Zerg off guard. But nonetheless, Hellions are still great. And he's keeping them alive, keeping them very safe. So when he actually comes out with his push, that's just going to add to the firepower.
Oh.
He's actually got a couple of Liberators on the way too.
This was intentional. He actually brought this back from the third. I thought for a moment he had done a bit of a misclick, but something about jjakji's a little bit spooked to take that third while he starts getting a bit aggressive out on the map. I think right now, like, he's preparing for this gigantic all-in and has misread what he saw. Like, I'm looking at his vision. Nothing here looks too out of the ordinary, but he's got 4 bunkers. 6 bunkers down? Yeah, now realizing his blunder, he salvaged them, and he's going to wish he had put that third command center down. jjakji, I'm not sure if he just saw the tail end of a bunch of lings and thought it was more than it was, or what spooked him there, but he thought that was going to be a massive all-in.
Yeah, I'm trying to, like, think back into what he saw, because I wasn't paying enough attention to figure out what what it actually was that he saw there that scared the crap out of him. But that is actually a nice little win for ByuL, completely unintentional, to have that third delayed. He probably thought, what the hell are you doing? Because he saw him move the third back. It was just kind of like, okay.
It's the juke. It's like, look at my bunkers and look at my third command center. I'm the one all-inning. Ha ha ha. Of course, it's not how that played out at all. As the army finishes up for the upgrade's sake, you know, it's a little bit late. Again, everything for jjakji, I think, you know, his minerals are spent in like 6 bunkers. Like, the third command center wasn't used for a while. His armor being late kind of sucks because he's not going to have the Hellbats time out for this push. Also, this wall is not a full wall. There's still a hole in the dead center of it.
Yeah. I think he's losing it a little. I mean, the third base has lings in it, the natural in there as well. And he's been trying to push this whole time as well. And he's only just now reaching the edge of the creep there.
Okay, so some fair points to be made. There's Liberators going on outside of this. There's a couple drones starting to go down, but for the most part, Spore Crawlers and Queens take care of it. Marines pushing on the front line do look to be uncontested for the start of this fight, but those Widow Mines go off on Overlords, so they're not ready for the Lings and Banelings, and they don't get very good hits. Marines boost on over to the main, however, going to try and take some better positioning. Psych, juked, back to the third.
Yeah, nice little swerve back into the third base there, and now he's got a really nice position behind the
look at that
line.
focus fire.
Yeah, unfortunately with the Banes he can't stay there too long, but he is still trading pretty efficiently here, all things considered, and the Marines are still doing work. He's actually going to try and target down the spawning pool. He probably, actually might be able to get that.
Both players do have even upgrades, but these medevacs are giving the Marines just too much of an edge at this point. The Lings flooding in 1 or 2 at a time. ByuL's really got to gather his forces if he wants to push this off. Meanwhile, looks like 2 more drops heading to the natural base while this goes on. That Viking's still running around the map picking off Overlords. Oh no, bit of a lag spike there. I'm not sure what that was. Hopefully the players didn't feel it. But drop in the third's picked off the drones from the mineral line. We got a rally down the middle of the map, and jjakji went from like 0 to 60 real quick. From a player who was scared and paranoid and playing all kinds of awkward to just dominating on the other side of the map. ByuL just can't keep up. His army supply's not there. The banelings don't exist, and as these Widowmites plan down, these mutas are going to have a real bad time against these Marines. Oh! GG.
jjakji. Wow, what starts the game? Once he recovered his rhythm there, my god, ByuL just didn't have a chance.
That for me was such a weird opening for jjakji. Like, I'm not sure if he's like. In fairness, ByuL plays weird and aggressive, and he does things like drops and more lings than you would expect. But something in that game spooked jjakji, and I would love to know what that was.
Yeah, I might, once the series is over, go back and look at that replay, because now I want to know. Like, it must have been something pretty obvious, right, for him to react like that.
Yeah, something kind of harrowing. I don't know. Anyways,
I don't
next
know, maybe
map.
chat saw and they're going to be like, these casters don't know anything, and they're just going to tell us what it is.
I think even if we called things perfectly, we're still going to see that. Anyways, the next map is going to be on Daybreak. Got to get the players on in. I will say, good guy ByuL. He might be a barcode, but at least he uses like his clan tag to identify who he is. It's a little bit easier.
Oh yeah, I was going to get you to like invite me to the caster clan.
I can't on Korea.
Really?
Zombie Grub.
The
Zombie Grub has it on Korea. I can't remember why. I think I was like joke quitting one day or something. Because I was trying to invite Dares to this as the admin, so people would know he's officially the admin. Let me see. Do I have invite powers? I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't. I'm a pleb. Rip. Yeah. Rip baby rage.
No, because you can't even request to join, which is what I was trying to do, and I was like, oh, I don't really care, because I think I left the one on NA and stuff.
Wow, it feels
bad. I
bad,
don't like
man.
having it when I ladder.
It's bad, man. I see how it is, Zeph. Part of this exclusive club that you just don't care for.
Not when I ladder, man.
No, in fairness, I don't really care about the clan tags. The original reason, actually, we picked the caster clan a long time ago was because we would join games, and BaseTradeTV being the unknowns that we were, people were just kind of like, who are these randoms joining our lobby? And Zeph and me and Zombie Grub and whoever else would always have to distinguish, like, oh no, we're casters. So we made the caster can to hopefully help cut down on that, but now we're kind of at this point where people know who we are, so it doesn't really matter anymore. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2. We are in the BTSL. This is season 1, episode 1, if you will, the first tournament of 4. And in the bottom left side, we have the blue Zerg player, ByuL.
And in the top right, up 1-0 in the series, it's jjakji.
Again, I've just got so many question marks about what happened in that last game, but I will say ultimately it's cool to see a Terran player beat ByuL. I really like ByuL, but even players like ByuL who look unstoppable at their best, they end up losing the odd game here and there. And I don't think like I'm sitting here like, man, ByuL's falling apart, he's lost his magic. But that was a good game to watch a player be able to take down what is such a TvZ god right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was just the right time for jjakji to push in there. I mean, he had because ByuL was trying to run lings around into the natural and in the third, and then when jjakji actually finally arrived with his push, I don't think ByuL really expected to have as much trouble with it as he did, because jjakji, he went into the third, and then he went into the main, and then the third again. And ByuL was trying to get mutas at the same time, and I think that may have screwed him over there, because at the end it was like mutas versus Marines, because he had no ground army left. So that might have been the nail in the coffin there, but regardless, jjakji did a great job with that push.
Very greedy opening out of ByuL this game. 3-hatch gas before pool. This is in fairness not the greatest map for Reapers. But it was a map where that was a threat, and there was no quick drone scout. The Overlord would just be seeing this now. ByuL rolled the dice hard on this game, and luckily for him, he's going to get away with it. But this was something that could have just been devastating.
Yeah. ByuL probably knows jjakji a little bit. Goes, he's probably not that likely to 3-racks Reaper me on this map, if at all. So it was a good gamble. I mean, it's going to pay off right now, and he's going to get drones galore.
Galore. That's like, is that French?
Huh?
Never mind. So I will say this much. If you can get away with 3 hatch gas for pool against a player like jjakji, and your macro is good as somebody like ByuL's, I think I don't want to be that guy who's like, I think this game's already over. But this is such a bad start for jjakji in that regard. Not because he's done anything wrong, but because ByuL's done a lot of things he just got away with. And if you guys haven't seen a lot of the games we were referencing before, specifically with Innovation and beyond, ByuL's a guy who's been pretty happy, we'll say, sticking on layer tech. So not really rushing out ultras, no necessity for broodlords. He'll win the game with lings, banelings, and mutas. And Daybreak, this is a great map for mutas. This is a really annoying map if you're playing against mutas.
Yeah, it is. But we'll see how we go. I mean, remember that crazy game last game where jjakji had a really weird start, and he still ended up.
He still won, yeah.
Yeah. So, while ByuL has gotten his 3 hatch without much trouble at all, it's definitely not going to call it a jjakji. I mean, it's not ideal, but nothing some good Hayras can't fix if you mow down a few drones.
So I know last cast we were talking about accents. Now you're throwing in some like southern drawl out of nowhere for the Hayras. Well, Clem, I was thinking about throwing down some Hayras, but then I realized I need some macro.
Oh, wow.
I feel like when I hear a lot of people aim for, like a lot of non-Americans or non-North Americans aim for Southern drawl, they always end up with what I best imagine in their head is just Morgan Freeman talking.
Really?
Ends up going like too slow and too calm.
Yeah, I guess so.
Give us some Southern accents, Zeph. What's that sound like? Give us a taste of the South.
Oh God, I don't know if I can do a Southern drawl. I don't really.
Here's what you do. Step 1, just say y'all every third word.
Y'all.
Howdy, y'all. How y'all doing?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Let me think about that, and I'll come back to you, because I'm just trying to replay the accents I heard in Texas in my head.
Okay. Well, there's a double drop coming towards the natural base. A lot of lings are already out there. Several queens are already in position. The creep spread's a little bit behind, but as we can see, he catches a lot of the Marines with a very nice surround, and normally while you're picking off the medevacs, taking off the Marines worked just fine for ByuL.
Yeah, he really didn't get very far with that at all. He could still be annoying with what he has left. He could pick it up and move elsewhere if he wants, but at the same time, looks like ByuL tried to sneaky snake a couple of lings into that natural again.
Yeah, it was about 3 lings that got held up at the door. Macro hatchery coming down in the main right now. Layers starting up as well. ByuL just kind of getting away with everything he wants in the early game. I mean, this isn't a situation where he's necessarily skyrocketed to 70 plus drones, but his macro game is just on point behind this. There's very little to no supply block time going on. He's got that macro hatchery with such a great timing, and of course thwarting off that drop. Really just smooth start for him. Back on the other side, jjakji has begun his command center. He's probably thinking about which base I want to take. This map is shown a lot of players really starting to prefer this base in the middle thanks to the watchtower rather than the pocket base, but I think it's personal preference more than anything else.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little unfortunate that jjakji hasn't been able to do any actual damage here, because ByuL is at the point where he's almost got the drone count that he wants, and he's going to be looking at a 4th base. Looks like he's going to be committing to lair tech for a little while.
Not surprising.
Yeah. It's the flavor of the day at the moment. Hold that thought, though, as a few medevacs with a bunch of Marines come in here. Mines do get burrowed, and he's already starting to try and target some of those Banes. Isn't enough to get any damage done.
That one of mine was super indecisive about what it wanted to hit, and ByuL knew that too. Running away from a bit of panic at the last moment. No speed and fighting off of creep is a bad combination, but ByuL's going to try and get us around and get those banelings to lock on in. I don't think this is a fight he necessarily needs to take.
Yeah, he does get out of there. Yeah, I think this is sort of looking for some trades, really. All in all, in this game, he's done pretty decently in that regard, but he needs something else going for him. He needs that 3rd base down, and he needs to put the hurt on ByuL, because ByuL is actually running away with this in terms of macro. Spires coming up. He's got a ton of lings and banes ready to go on the ground as well. He's actually producing a few more at the moment too, so he'll be safe against any ground push.
Wow, those last second Bailey
Yeah.
pop-offs and leaving one Marine behind on purpose to soak it, that was so cool. Jjakji, please, when did you get so cool?
Yeah, I'm actually super impressed with his Baneling sniping abilities this game. The series has just been pretty darn good.
Bailey's once again get focused down off of creep. Nice surround with these Lings, however. The Marines still, though, getting healed by a lot of these medevacs. Starting to go down finally, but ByuL's the one who has to pull back off this. Bailey speed being done's a little bit nicer. You get a little bit of extra health, a little bit easier to crash into those Marines. Picks off that medevac. Nice little touch at the end. Lings run by to the third while this goes on. jjakji, realizing it very quickly, pulls the SCVs away, however.
Yep. Sneaky little Lings. Looks like jjakji's not having any of that, though. He's really not taking too much damage from this, and in fact, he gets right up in the faces of the queens. Banelig's coming in. One unexpectedly takes a hit. A second one comes in and only grabs 2 kills out of that. But it does buy ByuL some much-needed time to re-establish a ground army, because he's struggling a little bit. Once these Banelings go down, there's not actually a lot left to compete with those Marines.
Yeah, and what's interesting more so is his Lings being out of position like this. They're looking to see if medevacs come, give chase. They're fast, sure, but they need to be here to soak the hits so the Banelings aren't so easily focused down. Like, if it's only Banelings rolling in, it's the only thing Widowmines and Marines need to shoot, then they know exactly what to worry for. If they're wasting shots on Lings, that's another story. As we can see, Widowmines get a clear shot. Nice friendly fire goes off of that batch of Marines. ByuL playing pretty conservative with those Bantley hits so far. Got a little bit spooked by that Widowmine, but control not too bad. jjakji splitting, ByuL pulling back. Both players handling this very well.
Yeah, that was a really nice dance on both sides. I think jjakji's still getting the better end of the trade here. He's really milking it with those Marines. But ByuL finally gets the counterattack he was looking for here. He's killed 13 workers so far and does get all these reinforcing Marines as well. So there's actually nothing to clean these up for the moment. But that does leave this fourth base a little bit exposed, as ByuL is still getting the forces he needs to get rid of that. And it looks like with those Banelings coming in, he has finally achieved that.
Deep Ash gets repaired too, which is really nice. We're finally moving on to the next stage of mutas though, right? Like, again,
Yeah.
ByuL's really comfortable with layer tech, but the problem is he's been missing parts of it. No mutas, not enough Banelings, this, that, and the other. 4 bases mining, though, has given him some pretty solid economy, and if we look at the income graph, guys, even with as much harass jjakji's been doing, as much mules as he may have been dropping, this game has been ByuL's in terms of economy for this last 5.5 minutes, so...
Yeah.
Finally, with that money, spends it on the upgrades, gets those mutas out. Banley's coming out now, too, and these drops out of jjakji are going to have to really start doing more than trade evenly. Drops in the main, actually completely denied. Nice pick off on the full health medevac. Second one also going to go down.
Oh, that's really nice. The mutas take a shot to the face, but they'll be okay in just a moment. I gotta say, like, jjakji has kept the pressure up pretty well. ByuL, despite having that 4th base for ages, he actually only started mining from it in like the last minute and a half, because the pressure just made it so that he couldn't really use that. And now look at this jjakji, he's just not ready for mutas just yet. And he's going to be kept at home dealing with this, but at the same time, ByuL sees an opportunity and he moves in with all his Lings and Banes.
Yeah, looks like the mutas got pretty riggedy wrecked, though, while this went on. He stopped paying attention to them, so lost almost all the mutas, so ends up being not very good for ByuL. The mutas are something you got to bulk up to like 12, 20, 30. Like, you can't get away with losing them like that this early. So that was a pretty bad loss for ByuL. Yeah, 9 mutas in total died there. Ouch. That should have been a freebie. Those should have just flown right the hell away.
That is definitely suboptimal, but...
Speaking of suboptimal, Cassiana just resubbed for 31 months. What? That's crazy. Thank you so much. Long time since Christ. I can't believe it's been 31 months. Yeah. Feels 31 months, man.
That is a long time.
Mutas
oh man,
once
these
again getting
mutas.
wrecked.
And again, don't do that. Just send him home. Oh my god, you're scaring me. He only lost one more, but...
It's breaking my heart, too, because ByuL is normally very good with his muta control. I'm not sure what's gotten him stirred up this game, but being
That
down
headache,
1.
man.
Yeah, the headache, being down 1, there's like a lot of things going against him. He will catch this medevac, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's a little bit of revenge, but look at that. The 3-3 of the Terran is starting to finish up. And when you sit on Lair Tech Zerg, you need to take those fights decisively, or you're never ever going to get a good trade again. And jjakji, all he needs is that little bit of momentum to bring the win home, really. Like, it's... These mutas are doing a good job at trying to keep him at home, but, like, I still really worry for him once these upgrades finish up. It's going to be a tough fight.
Well, looks like he's got some better control going on now. Skirts past a lot of the army. Doesn't take much guff for it. He does start moving out, though, with the Lings and Banelings. Whether he catches a drop or whether he's just intending to scare jjakji, either way, his army's finally ready to go. ByuL's been down, I want to say like on average 10 to 15 supply every time I've been looking in terms of just army value. So I've been a little bit worried about that. But again, going back to the 73 drones, the 5 bases, the macro hatchery, like he's got the income. And he's starting to get away with that mid-game. Wonderful Baneling hits on top of that drop, cleans it up very quickly. jjakji's starting to push down through the middle, but there's not a lot of tank support, or no tank support. There's no Thor support. It's just Widowmines and it's just Marines.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough fight for jjakji, but he's already got such good positioning in that little corridor there. It's so difficult to engage that when there's no creep through there. He doesn't have much vision, and there are so many mines in there too, so jjakji is playing this beautifully, slowly creeping up. Marines in the main do get cleaned up. Keeps the mutas out of the way for the moment though.
Yeah, here we go. Wants to go for the push. He knows there's Banelings, or sorry, Widowmines there, so he doesn't want to send his Banelings in too deep. That's why I saw him segment them off like that and then pull back. Missile turret coming down on the edge of creep. Kind of a cute move. 3 of the Widowmines misfire. Hopefully he realizes there's a lot more where that came from though, because jjakji's got more Widowmines behind this. Looking to hit the Lings. They don't touch the Banelings, and now the Marines have got a split for their lives. Still rolling on in. He's rolling, but he's out of juice. Almost all the Banelings are gone, but the Mutaflock is still looking pretty damn good on 17.
These splits from jjakji are insane.
They are, but
not enough.
It's still, yeah, it was like endless Banelings coming in. Now, that was everything for ByuL. Like, he really went dedicated with this attack, and it paid off in spades. 74 armies supplied to the 33. Most of jjakji's armies coming out in production. Little bits here and there. 12 more mutas coming out behind this. Oh, these Widowmines looking for some good hits, though!
Oh, oh my god.
A little bit spooky, a little bit scary. Oh,
GG.
Friendly fire at the very end killed like another 12 SCVs. Feels bad, man.
Yo. He evens it up to the 1-1.
Yeah, we're going to get our first game 3 of the day, which is absolutely fantastic. Small commercial break before we hop in, though, guys. So just 2 minutes. Stick with us. See you soon. All right, guys. Hello, and welcome back. We are getting into game number 3. It's Vanai Research Station, or Vanai, because it sounds cooler. Both players are in the lobby with us, and they're having a bit of a chat. It's in Korean, so I don't know what they're saying, but they finally said, ready, go, 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 go. So let's not put this off. Updates on the bracket, by the way, if you guys did not see, of course, Stats won the top side. Not so surprising over there. A little bit more surprising, or less, depending on your point of view, with Creator taking out Zest 2-1. And remember, while we're not casting Creator's game, he is actually streaming his own point of view. We may actually forcefully take a break to go raid his stream in a little bit of time, guys. But that being said, still the bottom side undecided. I believe QKR in the bracket is Dark, by the way. So I think it's Alive versus Dark currently playing, from what I understand.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, a lot of other good stuff. People asking about Zombie Grub. We'll answer those questions in just a moment. Let's get these intros done first, shall we? Top side of the map, it was his map choice. Here we are with the Red Terran player, jjakji.
And in the southeast of the Blue Zerg. Yo.
Also, you guys may or may not have noticed, we're trying out 1080. We haven't done 1080 resolution in a while. 1080 at 60, and it's been going pretty smooth so far, because Rifkin figured out how to overclock his graphics card. And I know that's something that a lot of you probably know how to do already, but I feel pretty proud about figuring it out, okay? Zombie Grub questions, though. Zombie Grub's no longer with us, guys. She has rage quit the channel. She's done with me flirting with her in every cast and needs to find a new boyfriend in France, I think is... Is that the public story? No. Zombie Grub's casted Nation Wars. If you guys haven't seen, she's been casting with Todd and Funka and Rotterdam and all those guys. So if you haven't been watching Nation Wars, because I know some of you are actually really awesome people who only watch BaseTradeTV, and you've got a special place in my heart. But you should definitely be supporting Zombie Grub over there. She'll be back on BaseTradeTV when she's done in France. This was a really cool opportunity for her, and I'm glad she got a chance to kick some ass and show the world a little bit more of herself.
Long overdue. She is sick city. But in other news,
this is a really weird 3 racks that is going to get scouted, by the way. I will say ByuL's Overlord is not super unconventional, but I guess normally we see it take the second Overlord's path first. Regardless, he sees this, and even though the jig might be up, I'm actually curious how much jjakji plan to dedicate to this. Vanai Research Station, it looks like a great Reaper map because you got all these ledges and ways into the main. But this is actually, in my opinion, terrible Reaper map. Because one of the things Reapers do best that force out all that pressure is take advantage of this ramp and make you choose between your natural and your main. However, the natural's tucked in nice and calmly back here, so for jjakji, this is strictly brute force through units, and there's no real advanced tactics with it, which is why I don't think it'll be that great, and I hope he doesn't go too dedicated with this.
Interesting that he does it on the last map.
It was his map choice too, so...
Yeah, I really didn't pick jjakji as a 3 racks Reaper. Like, I just don't feel like she needs to do it, and the Zergs are actually getting pretty good at holding it off, that it sort of surprises me in that sense as well. But anyway, he's in here, he's doing damage. The Queen is about half health already, but he does have to wait for more Reaper buddies before he can go any further. Speed is actually about to kick in though, so he's got to be careful that he doesn't get surrounded before he can group up all his Reapers.
I actually want to note, I really like where ByuL put his first creep tumor. A lot of people would assume you put it on this side of the creep and try and push it down that ramp. But in doing so, that's where the Reapers get the grenades off and pick them off. Oh, this is a bit cool and awkward. A bit of a bluff as ByuL hopes that jjakji won't be pushing in soon after that first attack. So he moves out to the middle of the map, and he's looking to catch Reapers. Fighting them over here one at a time is a lot easier than picking even one off in a cluster of 5 or 6. So as he catches the Reaper spawning 1 or 2 at a time, yeah, when you've got 5 or 6 grenades, not a problem. Here, problems. 2 Reapers already dead. If this is on the front lines, this is devastating. It's worse now because the barracks is burning and he's going to go down. Like, he actually has to lift that, possibly and potentially.
Hey, jjakji, do you regret doing this strat yet? Oh my god.
That split, by the way, set up the perfect surround on 2 different Reapers. Terrain-wise, this looked like a really cool move, and I just... jjakji, you're dead, man. I'm so sorry. Zeph's got the evil laugh going on right now. She enjoys watching the death of a great Terran, but I'm sad.
Oh, this is going so terribly. How can you not laugh? Oh, wow. That really sucks for jjakji. I mean, ByuL just calmly takes a 3rd base behind this. He gets a Bane nest. He's still got plenty of Lings left over. He doesn't have a worry in the world right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... Wow. That's definitely not how the 3 racks Reaper is supposed to go.
So here's what's kind of interesting about this, right? If jjakji pushes out a tank, his front line should be defended, and I don't think he'll be worried about a Baneling bust. But ByuL's also the type of guy who's not necessarily going to Baneling drop you, or hit you in the front, rather. He'll sooner, I think, 8 Ling drop you in the natural type thing. Something to certainly be concerned about, to say the least. Regardless of this, though, jjakji does have his 3rd CC on the way, and as miserable as the opening was for him, he's not exactly super behind. He is down and out right now, but Terran's got a couple of cool things that can bring them back, and one of those things is, of course, mules. Helps bridge that gap of income you were missing out on. So we can see that jjakji's still rocking and rolling, even though it's only 2 bases.
Yeah, jjakji, he's not dead yet, but it's still going to be tricky. A whole bunch of Lings just got churned out again.
This is actually a real big problem. You'll notice, so 2 big things just happened there, and I don't think he was necessarily going to go for a blind bust. He picks off a Marine on the low ground, that was kind of cool, but he kills the Reaper, so now there's no grenade to threaten him, only 1 tank shot. This first tank shot's going to take out like maybe 3 or 4 of the Banelings on the front lines, but then there's more than enough to break through that wall and finish it off.
Yeah, he's probably going to be able to kill the stim as well, and jjakji just has nothing really. SCVs come off the line.
They get pulled into Banelings though, and that's not necessarily a great thing. Lings have a surround on that tank, and jjakji is going down. Dead zone is a big problem here.
Yeah, he's doing a really great job at repairing that siege tank, but it actually just can't be saved. Those Lings are too close. GG, ByuL moves on 2-1.
Whether he's sick or not, ByuL is still a good enough player to take on some of the best Terran there is.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, please tell me they haven't started. Alive and Impact?
I don't know. They've been there for a while.
No, Alive just advanced. Like.
Oh, really? I thought... Okay.
Oh, they just got in the game. Oh, we just missed it. Okay, well, that's fine. There's a couple of other matchups, guys. We'll probably join in a game 2 or a game 3 somewhere on the bracket. But guaranteed going forward, we have at least 2 best-of-3s in the semifinals and 1 best-of-5 in the grand finals. I would like to also note that today is Thursday, and cool story, Rifkin. But this tournament will normally take place on Fridays. Today didn't take place on a Friday, though, to accommodate Zeph, because she is casting the OSC stuff, and we didn't want to have to force her to pick and choose or anything. So we just said, yeah, we'll do the first one a day early. Why not? Makes everyone's life easier. And going forward, though, the plan is to keep them on Fridays. Now, before some of you who are a little bit more learned to StarCraft point out, yes, GSL is also on Fridays, but it's the Wednesday group that starts at the same time as this tournament, or later or something, I don't remember. But the Friday group actually starts in the middle of the day in Korea, so they're already done with GSL, probably a good like 2 or 3 hours before we would start this normally. So there should be no conflicts going forward, and hopefully a lot of really just great players to show up and compete each week. But yeah, that being said, guys, we're going to go to a commercial break. Hopefully during the break we'll find game 2 or 3, whether it's Gumiho versus Creator, or Stylish versus Alive, or Stats even. We'll try and get to a game somewhere. But stay tuned, and we'll be back soon.